Let's talk about Stephen Cohn a little bit, and you, and how you both got involved in making this film. And I know he's written plays and
Yeah.
been
Well,
working in theater.
I am executive director of Split Pillow. We are an organization that produced the film, and we've been around since 2002, producing works by Chicago filmmakers, developing a lot of films, developing a lot of programming, also doing things like outreach for middle-class students in Chicago public schools and things like that.
Middle class?
I'm sorry, middle school.
I thought,
I'm
oh,
thinking
you're
class.
only reaching out to the middle classes.
Oh,
What
most
about
of them
the
are probably
lower
not
and
middle
upper
class.
classes?
Right.
Okay.
Middle school students in Chicago. So Stephen came to us in 2007 with an idea, with a script. We liked it, and we put it into production almost a month later.
Now, is that how it works? I mean, tell me how. We've had Split Pillow on here before. You want to, but just for the audience who's not aware of what Split Pillow is, tell us where that comes from. What the original notion was based on.
Well, in 2002, the organization was started as a kind of an experimental way of making films, which was, at that time, we had 11 filmmakers who got together to make one feature-length film.
And they all did different portions.
And everybody basically wrote their own little portions. It was completely collaborative. It was completely organic. It was improvised. And we made a film in 2003 called The Cliffhanger. And that was our original film. It was made using that exquisite corpse concept.
And which is the surrealist.
It's the surrealist concept of basically, having one person start a process and the next person picks up, and so on and so forth, until you unwrap everything and you get this big thing in the end. Which hopefully adds up to something.
But so you abandoned that process?
We've done quite a number of films that way, in a variety of different ways. We've done films where we wrote out the script and then gave it different sections of it to different filmmakers. We had where the filmmakers actually write their own stuff, and then we add it all up together in the end. So we went through a variety of different ways of doing that process, and we never really abandoned it. But we moved on to, I think, more narratively driven film and not so much experimentally driven films. And I think there will be place in the future for that stuff as well.
Which stuff?
The experimental. The exquisite corpse stuff.
But you guys are going a little bit more in the traditional...
Yeah, right now our mission has sort of evolved to where we want to make very good films about Chicago for Chicago audiences. If that film involves 7 filmmakers or if that film involves 1 filmmaker. And it's all about, what films are not being made right now that the audience here want to see.
You're listening to WLUW 88.7, Loyola University's community radio station. This is Lisa Smith, and I'm talking to Dennis Belogorsky. We're talking about The Christians and the film The Christians. And just a moment ago, you were saying that the Split Pillow, the organization that produced this, your mission has changed, and now your goals have changed in terms of what kinds of films you want to produce. So it's Chicago focused.
Absolutely.
So does that mean that whoever proposes a film to Split Pillow has to be a Chicago theme, a Chicago filmmaker? How does that work?
We want to work with Chicago filmmakers first and foremost, and we want to make
sure. So
if
you're from Ohio, you can't come in and say, "I got a film about Chicago I want to do."
Yeah, absolutely, you can. That's fine.
Okay, so that fits the bill.
We ask people that we want to make sure that the film gets shot in Chicago. You can come from Canada, you can come from LA, and if you want to hire local crews and shoot in Chicago for a majority of your film, that's great. We'd love to have you here. Now,
I noticed that this film, when I was watching the credits, and I did think that, by the way, I thought the sound was excellent, the actors were all good, and it looked good. I mean, it looked good. But I would like to make clear that the film The Christians is not ridiculing fundamentalist Christians or anyone else. It's not a comedy. It's serious. It's a very serious drama.
And as a side note, the writer-director Stephen Cohn is a son of a preacher man.
He's a son of a preacher man.
Yes. So he really grew up with that background. He respects that point of view, and in no way is he ridiculing it. As a little anecdote, his father, who's a preacher, was doing catering on the film.
He was what?
He was catering.
He was catering the craft services.
Absolutely. So he was right there. So I think that it's a very different kind of a take on what can be easily ridiculed, and especially by a lot of mainstream media.
Yeah, I think that was my expectation. I think that I was thinking that it was going to sort of poke fun at sort of naive notions of fundamentalist Christians.
There's a lot of humor in the film, but I think it comes from a very good place, and it comes from a place of ultimately respecting people's perspective and people's way of living.
Now, when is this going to be screening at the Gene Siskel?
The film will be screening tonight at the Siskel Center at 8 p.m. and Wednesday at 7:45 p.m.
Okay, and once again, we're talking about the film The Christians. It's a local indie film production, and you can see it at Gene Siskel Film Center. And if you would like a pair of tickets to see the film, you just have to call WLUW 508-9589 and either say, be the first caller who comes up with the name of the film, the director, or the producer, Dennis Belogorsky. Dennis, thank you very much for coming in today. We're going to take a short music break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you, Lisa.